Ang pagkakaroon ng edukasyon ang mabisang hakbang upang matamasa ang magandang buhay. Ngunit ang pagkakait nito, maaring maging daan upang mapariwara rin ang isang buhay. Sinasamantala ng grupong NPA ang kawalan sa edukasyon ng karamihan sa mga kabataan. Nagbabalat kayo at pag-aarali ng mga maghihimok nila sa kanilang kampo. Sa ganitong sistema, nadodoktrinahan nila ang maling aral ng mga pobreng kabataan. Sadyang matalino ang ilang utak sa NPA dahil kung minsan akala natin ang kalaban nasa malayong lugar lang. Pero ang ilan sa kanila, nasa loob na pala ng kinakalaban nilang hanay. Ganyan kumilos ang rebedeng grupo. Tila may mga galamay sila sa kahit anong ahensya. Maski ang mga katutubo, hindi rin pinatawad ng makakaliwang grupo. Madali nilang nabulag ang mga ito sa maling paniniwala. Para sa NPA, isa sa pinakamadaling mahikayat ay ang mga indigenous people. Bilang tahanan din ng iba't ibang tribo ng mga katutubo, hindi na kaiba sa bayan ng Quezon na mahikayat ang ilan sa mga kababayan nito na sumanib sa armadong kilusan.
Kami po yung taga doon sa bundok, halos hindi na kami mapansin dahil malayo na talaga kami. Siguro kasi mayroon kasi ibang partido doon na dili namin alam kung ano ba illegal ba o hindi.
Kaya naman paano tinutugunan ng lokal na pamahalaan ang suliranin sa edukasyon at kawalan ng serbisyo sa mga itinuturing na ugat ng kanilang lahi.
Are you alarmed by this report, or if you haven't heard about this, may pumapasok as CAFGO, may nag-a-apply sa munisipyo and spying to serve as their eyes and ears. Paano mo ito tatanggapin pag nalaman mong ganito?
That has been going on a long time. Even here in the municipio, many of not that many, but there were really several who were outright not only sympathizers but working for the insurgents.
Working here in the LGU?
So, yes, I
As
got rid
what?
of them. Ay, DOs.
So ganun lang kadali ang magtanggap ng empleyado, sir?
Yeah, of course. Especially before, when they were under threat, it was easier for them to say yes rather than fight.
So an NPA could just get employed in the LGU?
Yes.
Because for political survival ng mayor?
Mayor, political advantage. Because sa tingin niya, magagamit din niya for his own kuan.
And possibly, maraming information ang nakukuha at naipasa sa grupo.
Oh yes, definitely. Now, in my case, since I never really contributed anything to them in my life, and I never...
Swear to God yan, Mayor.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. That's why I'm not their favorite.
Because you say no.
Yeah, and when I took over...
No to hundreds of thousands demand?
I've never. Yung mga campaign, never. Never. That's why.
Permit to win?
Never.
Permit to campaign?
Wala na, never.
But you were offered?
They demanded. So, no.
And dun pumanig sa kalaban mo?
Yes. Definitely, I suppose.
Posible ring mag-campaign against you?
They will. Even when I ran as vice mayor, they were already against me. Last time when I ran as mayor, they were against me. But just to show you that even in the barangays that they had full sway, because it's secret balloting, I won.
Balikan natin yung employment sa LGU and government offices. You're the mayor now. What are your policy when you hire people here in the LGU? Do you have some background checking? We ensure that they're loyal to our government?
Yeah, we have to do this. We have to do that. Basically, we
Now that you know that there's this infiltration,
that has been going on nga. So we really have been trying to be careful. And we try to also go through the ranks to see who is still favoring or still has sympathies for the other side or could be helping. And we have removed several through the years.
you've removed
Yes,
employees
yes,
na sympathetic.
yes.
How many, Mayor?
I don't recall outright.
You say sympathetic. What did they do?
We knew that they were helping, for example, they were used for information or to supply, or that they're friendly, so mahirap na. Then to begin with also, that's one thing that we got rid of. When we do the JO employees now in the municipio, we stopped whatever the practices, yung what would classify as 1530.
Okay.
So they have to work. So when somebody is hired, they have a particular job to do that we expect them to accomplish. So in the old methods that people had, people would get hired, and that's why they could afford to support anything, because they just work, they just get the money, and yung pala, they're working there. This thing is a matter of expediency in politics. If you play politics of expediency, what is the easiest, what is the fastest to get the soonest advantage, definitely you will harvest problems in the future.
And you hate these things.
No, I'm not. I really go more for long term.
Is it high time that we change our policies? Because we know that this could be a big problem in the future. Do you see some problems in the future if indeed hindi natin to bigyan ng focus itong paghihigpit ng ating mga hanay?
Let's not simplify things, no? It can get more complicated than that. But basically, one of the things that's important is they would say, of course, people have to be more educated. But more than anything, people actually can feel when they're being fooled in a way, no? So if they can see, it's my belief like now, that if you can see that they're delivering what people think should be given, no, what is good, not just populism of giving away, no, that's spreading goodies. It's may people appreciate it also, but you have to be consistent, and it has to be not patingi-tingi. It has to be effective.
I'd like to mention the project that you have implemented, yung mga schools in the rural areas, which were infiltrated by the NPA.
Yes.
Yung mga bata na naturuan para mamulat sa totoong kailangang dapat na maintindihan. Tell us about that project and what's the impact vis-a-vis dito sa campaign natin against insurgency.
In some places here, they actually put up their own schools.
Up to now?
Well, no more. It's been removed, no? And in some places, the people themselves demolish the schools.
The people,
Yeah.
not the officials.
No, because by themselves, when it was cleaned up already, it was terrible in that the children were actually being made to go to school there in these schools, and they were taught, it was, from my understanding, because I did not see it myself, no, I was not there, that they were even taught guerrilla, how to crawl, how to fight, and their chants were anti-government, and that's
What barangay is that?
like for example, in Dumasilag, that's in Santa Filomena, in Liing, in that's Lumintao, up there.
What happened, Mayor?
Wala na ngayon. But you talk to the children there, for example. So what we did now, for example, is we're trying to build more schools there. Like right now in Dumasilag, we're rebuilding the school there. But now, so we brought in doctors, really, it was hard to go in there, it's layo. So we built a trail first, we spent substantially, so that we could bring in supplies. And so we did that now. And other barangay, other sitios.
So, I'm more interested in the schools. Paano nyo hinikayat yung mga bata doon na mag-enroll doon sa bagong school?
Right now, the first one we're doing is like Dumasilag. We have to rebuild it there because to serve that area. No?
Because?
There's none. There's no school there.
At mga NPA marami.
Well, there's no more NPA there now. Because people really turned them down. In fact, nag-alsamasa ng mga tao doon ngayon. The NPA is having a hard time entering there. They cannot go back there. The people will take it against them. Yes. It's really something.
So, the school is already operating
No,
now?
we're starting to build it because it's not there. So, the people wanted a school, for example, in Dumasilag, so, we're building now, no?
Ito yung mga bata na sabi mo tinuruan na gumapang at magdala ng barel. Magdala ng barel.
Also, I guess, no? But it really more for the doctrine and all that.
Okay.
The other one more important is the high schools. What happened here is that these areas are so far-flung And the children there never had a chance to go to high school. It's just too far from the nearest high school. That's why we took it to start building high schools, increase the number of integrated schools by just adding high schools. When I took over as mayor, there were 6 high schools in Quezon. So since in the 2 years that I've sat here, we increased it to 16. We added 10 high schools. Most of them in the far-flung areas. Like in Gamot, which is up there also, they have a high school now. We put one also in Quipolot, in Magsaysay, and we're putting another one now in Santo Domingo, which is up there, it's NPA area also. Iba, when the children can finish high school, iba. Their education is wider, they can do more. And that's why the Constitution requires, mandates a high school education. But until we build high schools there, there's really nowhere they can go. Plus, we're also giving, we started a program of giving allowances for transport. So those indigent, may they will have an allowance so that they can go to the nearest high school.
But at the back of your mind, this is really your tool to counter insurgency.
The countering insurgency is not an end by itself. You have to take a look at where you're going to bring the town. That is just one of the aspects. My belief is that in time, as people see that there are services already, that there is a future, that they can see that it's being given, that there's a future. Mainly, that's why we're doing that. No? Those are our goals. No? They will be convinced that it's not worth getting into this because there's a future for me anyway coming up and for my children. That's what that's the job of government, to provide opportunity by giving all the infrastructure, all the schools, training, livelihood, whatever. This idea of giving people the chance to make something of themselves.
Though just a part of your big population here in Quezon, you still give time and projects for the IPs because you believe sila itong madaling makumbinse.
Also, but that doesn't. You have to understand them. It's not that easy. Before, because they were easily threatened and they had no alternative. So, and there was money. So they'd go there. But if you show them a better future, they will so easily.
So how are they now?
Fine. You should have been yesterday. They had a bunch, several of them came up. They wanted a meeting with me. These were the tribal chieftains of every barangay and the IPMRs. So we cleared up certain policies and all that. Our view here is that we don't want to discriminate. So they're just one of the tribes, whether you're a Cebuano, Tagalog, or what, and maybe you're a Manobo, whatever. Everybody should maintain their culture. We are doing a lot to preserve the culture. We're building a cultural heritage center for them. Several we've built. We spend for the certain festivals and rites like that, no? And assistance, of course. But the main point is to let them feel that they are not being left behind, but they should join the mainstream. They may be IPs, somebody else is Tagalog, but that's between. The moment you start laying divisions, then separate agad. It's not going to work. I don't feel it's a good idea to make distinctions. Maybe there's difference. You don't look the same as me. Maybe you don't dress the same as me. But what's the difference? We're both people. We should have equity of opportunity.
Intensified ang intelligence gathering ng armed forces at ng PNP sa ngayon. Because there's this new information that they just gathered. There's this tactical alliance between the Moro rebels, the Muslim extremists, and the CPP-NPA. And they are now looking for that area where the tactical alliance, the Muslim extremists, and the CPP-NPA are training their members for bombings, paggawa ng mga bomba and all.
Dahil si Mayor ay tumutulong sa amin. Actually si Mayor, siya ang aming municipal mayor, nagbibigay ng mga proyekto sa amin. Especially sa mga bundok. Kasi bawat hinaing ng tribo ay binibigyan niya agad ng atensyon. May response siya sa kaagad. Lalo na sa humihingi ng mga assistance. Andyan siya kaagad, medical, lalo na ngayon sa pandemya. Nagbibigay siya agad ng remedyo sa mga kakulangan sa pagkain, gamot, ganyan.
Promise nila sa akin na i-withdraw yung kaso ko. Siyempre naman nangarap ako na ikasama ko yung buong pamilya ko. Kaya ako nag-surrender kasi gusto ko na mabuhay, gusto ko na kasama yung buong pamilya.
Sa ngayon po kasi, yung Quezon po kasi nagkakaisa na yung Quezon ngayon na talagang wag na tayong bumalik dun sa wag na tayong sumapi o wag na tayong makisama dun sa kaliwa kasi nga sila nga yung kumahad lang sa atin.
Magandang Gabi Pilipinas.